When Emma suddenly saw a big bear with her 3 cubs looking through the kitchen window, she froze with fear. "Jake, come, quickly!" she called out to her husband. As soon as he arrived, he shared her shock, barely believing his eyes. However, the bears remained calm. "They don't look angry, do they?" "They look scared," Emma said. Jake agreed. It seemed like these bears needed help, but when they realized what the bears were running from, they had no other choice but to call 911. But before we start our story, smash the like button. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you won't miss any new stories. Just as Emma and Jake were contemplating their next move, their daughter Emily burst into the room, her eyes wide with curiosity. "What's going on?" she asked, glancing between her parents. Jake pointed to the window and Emily's jaw dropped. Jake took a deep breath and moved to the door, pulling it open cautiously. "Everyone stay back," he instructed. The bears didn't retreat nor attack, but seemed to beckon Jake forward. "Come on, Mom," Emily encouraged as she stepped outside. "No, what are you doing?" Emma called out, but her daughter smiled and said, "They won't hurt us. They need us," and continued walking. Emma sighed and followed her husband and daughter, feeling worried but curious. With each step the bears took, they paused to glance back, as if they were making sure the Smiths were still following them. Suddenly, the bears came to a stop beneath a towering ancient tree. Emma and her family gathered around, the huge branches above casting shadows on them. "Why do you think they stopped here?" Jake asked, a hint of worry in his voice. "This tree is enormous," Emily remarked, staring upward. A sense of foreboding hung in the air, but the silence was soon broken by the rustle of leaves. The sudden, loud rustle made everyone freeze. The snapping of a branch echoed through the forest, sharpening their focus on the left. Even the bears grew still, ears perked up as if they were listening closely. Jake pressed a finger to his lips, signaling the family to crouch down quietly. Hidden from view by a thick clump of bushes, they peered through the leaves. A shadowy figure moved with stealth between the trees. Emma wrinkled her nose, her throat almost gagging at the thick, strange stench that suddenly filled the air. "What is that smell?" Emily whispered, covering her nose with her sleeve. The bears' growls rumbled lowly, their eyes shifting as if annoyed by the scent. Emily squeezed Emma's hand, feeling fear prickling through her veins. Jake leaned closer and whispered, "We'll go home soon, okay?" As the shadowy figure vanished, the forest seemed to come alive around them. Birds chirped nervously, and leaves whispered in the breeze. There was no turning back now, as every step felt necessary in their pursuit of the mysterious journey. Eventually, they stumbled upon a shimmering stream, the water glistening under the dappled sunlight. The bears paused to drink, allowing the family a moment to catch their breath. By the edge of the stream, Emma noticed the unusual litter scattered on the ground. "What's all this?" Jake picked up a strange object, inspecting it closely. The bears huffed and gestured, as if urging the Smiths away from the water's edge. Emma took a step back, unsure. Why are they acting so weird? The bears suddenly hesitated, drawing the family's attention further east. They seemed to be pointing them in a new direction. Emma noticed a faint humming noise unusual in the quiet forest. "Do you hear that?" she asked, inclining her head to listen more closely. Cautiously, they moved toward the humming noise, their senses on high alert. Without warning, the bears halted next to a narrow, worn trail barely visible beneath the brush. Emma, sensing an end to their strange journey, realized that the bears had a purpose. They were leading the family somewhere. The Smiths followed the worn trail, eyes wide and filled with anticipation. The trail gradually widened, leading to an unexpected view hidden by the thick brush. When they stepped out, they found themselves facing a dense grove, its depth unfamiliar and intriguing. The family moved cautiously among the trees when suddenly Emily stopped, pointing ahead. "Look over there," she whispered. What had seemed like dense underbrush revealed an overgrown path, hardly visible. "Weird, it's like a trail," Jake noted, narrowing his eyes to see more clearly. Emma let out a gasp as Jake pulled back some bushes to reveal an old abandoned vehicle. Its faded paint barely showed beneath the leaves. "Whoa, what's this doing here?" Emily questioned, stepping closer. Before anyone could say more, the mother bear gently nudged the car door with her nose. It creaked open slightly, revealing something unexpected to the startled family. Peering inside the vehicle, they found scattered items hinting at recent human activity. "Someone's definitely been here," Jake concluded, glancing at the others. Emma, with wide eyes, pulled a piece of paper from under a seat. "What does this mean?" she asked Jake. Emily looked between her parents, piecing the clues together silently. They all felt they were on the brink of uncovering something. Quickly leaving the car behind, they scrambled down the overgrown path, hearts racing. As they moved, they noticed pieces of trash and broken branches scattered everywhere. The bear's behavior became increasingly unsettled, making Emma's heart pound. It was clear they sensed something approaching. "What's got them worked up?" Jake wondered aloud. Jake's instincts screamed caution, and he urged his family to hide. "Quick, over here!" he whispered fiercely, tugging them behind dense bushes. The bears growled softly beside them, their stance one of alert protection. "They're protective, aren't they?" Emily whispered, impressed by the animal's bravery. A man's voice broke the quiet, frustration evident. "Lost track. Should have known better," he cursed, echoing through the trees. Emma carefully pushed aside branches, spotting figures stealthily moving among the woods. "Jake, look!" she whispered, both fearful and curious. More figures appeared, weaving between the trees, their conversation a mix of irritation and urgency. The family stayed low, hearts pounding. The figures in the forest carried nets and strange-looking bags, sending a chill through the observing family. "What are they doing out here?" As the family huddled closer, the bears circled around them protectively. Jake weighed his options quickly and nodded towards the stream. "Let's hustle over there," he whispered, gesturing to the water in the distance. Emma and Emily nodded in understanding. It was time to move, but they kept a careful pace, trying to remain as quiet as possible, trusting the bears' instincts to guide them away from danger. Jake scouted ahead slightly, motioning them around a spot with broken branches. "Stay low," he urged quietly, his eyes scanning their surroundings. The forest felt alive with secrets, but the trail they found offered a little bit of hope on their tense escape. The sudden crash nearby made Emma's heart leap. "Keep going," she urged Emily, quickening their pace. An animal's distant cry echoed through the trees, adding urgency to their movements. Jake took the lead, waving them on with determination. "This way," he called over his shoulder, leading them safely past the unseen chaos. The forest felt like a maze, but his steady pace was their beacon. They finally reached a quiet spot near the stream, its gentle flow calming their nerves a little. The voices that had been chasing seemed to fade into the background, but the unease didn't disappear completely. With hearts pounding, they leaned against the damp trees, trying to catch their breath. Wet leaves clung to their clothes, and Jake whispered, We need a plan." The bears stayed close, their eyes alert. Emma caught Jake's gaze, and without words, they prepared for whatever lay ahead. The bears began moving again, urging the Smiths toward a cleared area. A wooden cabin stood quietly in the muted gloom. Emma squinted. "What is this place?" she wondered. Jake scanned the structure as Emma pointed to strange marks on the walls. Through a dusty window, Jake saw odd equipment piled inside. "This isn't right," he murmured. Emily leaned in, her face reflecting unease. The realization hit them. This was an illegal poaching site. Around the cabin, crates held captured animals. "This is horrible," Emily gasped. The bears stood by, watching as the family pieced together the truth. Emily spotted a map pinned inside. "Dad, look!" she pointed. It marked known hunting territories, confirming their fears. "We need to stop this," Jake said firmly, clutching the map. Emma nodded. "We have to tell the authorities." The bears seemed content, as if relieved by the family's understanding. The Smiths decided to head home, their determination outweighing fear. "We'll report this," Jake assured Emily. Despite no cell service, their resolve strengthened with each step. Breaking free from the trees, a wave of relief washed over them as they spotted park rangers. Emma waved them down, urgency in her voice. "You won't believe what we found." Jake backed her up with calm resolve. The rangers listened intently before rushing to investigate. News of the discovery spread quickly. Investigators arrived, exposing the poaching network. Within days, arrests were made. Emily watched the updates, proud of their role in stopping the crime. The bears retreated into the now protected forest. Watching them, gratitude swelled in the Smiths' hearts. "We really did something important," Emily said softly. Jake smiled. "We did it together." Their bond strengthened, each retelling of the adventure reminding them of their courage. Knowing their efforts had made a difference, the family walked home with a renewed sense of purpose. Emily marveled at the trees. "I feel like we've made a difference." Emma ruffled her hair. "We did." In the following days, the community rallied around them. Awareness of wildlife protection grew, inspired by their bravery. Jake was invited to share their story, and Emma felt the town shift toward action. Occasionally, the bears returned to the forest's edge, a silent nod of appreciation. Emily watched happily. "They remember us, don't they?" Empowered by their experience, the Smiths embraced their roles as nature advocates, their story inspiring others. Together they thrived, proud of their efforts and the change they had sparked.